What is going on, nerds? My name is Jesse and welcome back to the channel. Today we got another video coming at you. I'm actually super excited because it is a book tag. It's my first ever book tag. Big shout out to Sam's Nonsense. She tagged me on Twitter. She's an awesome person. I really appreciate that, Sam. Link in the for the original video in the description below, along with her channel and anything else she wants me to put down there. This is called the Ultimate Book Lovers Tag. Like I said, original video in the description below. This is actually really tough. There's some hard questions on here. I was going through. I just woke up this morning. This is like my third attempt trying to record this video. I keep getting phone calls, so hopefully this is the one. But man, going through these questions, it was pretty tough. So, and I'll tag a couple of people at the end of the video in the description below. All right, here we go. Top 3 favorite books. Okay, so most people know that I do audiobooks mostly, but I do have some hard copies of my favorite books. So number 1. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. This is my favorite book of all time. It actually tussles with Harry Potter. I don't know which one I keep above it, but for right now we're going to say The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. This actually is a full collection of all of the stories. It starts with like Sign of Four and Studying Scarlet, and then The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and then the last like 4 books after that as well. I actually really like going to thrift stores and trying to find the oldest copies of the Sherlock Holmes books I can find with inscriptions because I'm a weirdo, and that's what I like to do. So I have a couple of copies of Sherlock Holmes, but that's like the one that has all of the stories. Number 2, no surprise here, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I really like this cover. They had like a collection of these at Barnes & Nobles, and I just picked up one because I couldn't afford to pick up all of them, but I just really like the cover of this one, so I have this one. I actually have all of the hardback, the original, all of the hardback, but they're at my parents' house in some time capsule somewhere in the garage that I'll never be able to find. But if I do find, update video or Twitter, one of the two. All right, number 3, The Martian. This is the book that got me back into reading. So I went through, I went pretty late into this whole reading game that people are in. It just started for me 3 years ago. I wasn't a big reader when I was a kid, with the exception of the Harry Potter books. But yeah, once I saw the Martian trailer, I went and got the audiobook, and that's what got me into reading. So big shout out to The Martian, man. Love that book. Number 2, top 3 least favorite books. All right, this is gonna piss some people off, so let's do it. I know that my tastes aren't exactly the same as everybody else, and that's okay. So don't flame me too hard in the comments. Here we go. The Sword of Summer by Magnus Chase. Not a big fan of this book. I got halfway through it. I just find the character of Magnus Chase to be very annoying and immature. So, sorry. I know a lot of people like Magnus Chase, but not for me. Number 2, Nightingale. Got a quarter of the way through it and threw it away because it sucks really bad. Sorry. Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas in the Throne of Glass series. I tried recently to get back into this book, but unfortunately it has the same problems it has the other 2 times I tried to read it. I actually like Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. They're my 2 favorite, but when an author takes the 2 characters that I like, which were Kayal and Selena, and break them up in a bullshit way like she did at the end of Crown of Midnight, it really bums me out. And in the 3rd book, they're not really together, and like I'm invested in these characters, and then it just goes somewhere I'm not expecting it to go, and it's just not for me anymore. So, Heir of Fire. I gave it another shot, it just didn't work out for me. Popular author you love, J.K. motherfucking Rowling, and it's just gonna stay that way forever. I'm sorry. There's no good reason for her not to be number 1 all time. Okay, here we go. Number 4, a popular author you don't love. I don't know how popular he is, but he is an author I don't love. It's Chunk Wendig. He did the Star Wars Aftermath series. This was right when Force Awakens was coming out. They released the Aftermath series. I just don't like those books. I really wanted to like them. I read them all before Force Awakens, or I think 1 came out before Force Awakens and then 2 after. But it's just not for me. I'm not a big fan. Number 5, an underrated book you think everyone should read. That is Something Borrowed. I think it's a contemporary book about relationships, but it's not a typical contemporary book. If you aren't into contemporary, like I know Sam isn't, I'm going to recommend this one to her. This is a great book. It's really funny. plays on relationships really well, and the main characters are something that you can really sink your teeth into. Number 6, a series you will not finish, Fallen Kingdoms. I actually really liked the first book, to be honest, but it just wasn't for me. They killed my favorite character in a atypical way. Like, I saw it coming from a mile away. Like, I'm listening to the audiobook of Fallen Kingdoms, and you know, he's coming to save the day. I can't remember his name. I read it a couple of years ago, and yeah, man, I was really bummed when he killed my favorite character. When an author kills my favorite character, it's really hard for me to continue on in the series. Like, it's just a real bummer for me. I don't know if that's like that for everybody else, but I just get so invested in my favorite character in a book that when they're gone, it's over for me, you know? Okay, earliest bookish memory, number 7. Reading Captain Underpants with my 4th grade teacher, man. She was awesome. She had all the whole series in like paperback. I don't know if anybody read Captain Underpants, but they're coming out with a movie pretty soon, so I guess I'm gonna go watch that. I don't know, we'll see. But I really liked Captain Underpants when I was a kid. Okay, here we go. Number 8, favorite bookish memory. Marathoning all of the Harry Potter books before Deathly Hallows 1 came out in theaters. So I had read all the way up to book 4 when I was a kid, but I had fell out and during high school, and I think the Deathly Hallows 1 came out when I was graduating. So I really wanted to catch up and enjoy the last film by reading all the books. So I started from book 1 and read all the way up into book 7. So that's my favorite books memory. Number 9, favorite genre to read. I mean, sci-fi, fantasy. I think most people are going to say sci-fi, fantasy, because that genre is just the best genre. I mean, there's nothing. Why would you want to read books that are based on the regular world? I mean, just to me, if I want to read something or watch a movie, I want it to be about something that I can't experience in my everyday life. So that's why I like the sci-fi fantasy genre. And I also include The Martian in sci-fi. Even though it's hard sci-fi, I count it as sci-fi because it's about Mars. Okay, number 10, your least favorite genre to read. It's going to be nonfiction for me. I think most people are going to say nonfiction or contemporary probably. I just don't have any interest in nonfiction, with the exception of a couple of autobiographies about some people that I really enjoy, like Kevin Smith's autobiography was really good, and I also liked Simone Biles, the Olympic gymnast autobiography. I thought that was really good as well. So nonfiction in general is not for me. 11, one difficult or important book you're proud to have read. That's going to be The Help. I actually have a copy of The Help. This I got at a thrift store. It's like a really old copy of The Help, but I really like it. And yeah, man, if you haven't read The Help or haven't watched the movie, you should get on. Does this one have an inscription in? I really buy a lot. I buy a lot of thrift store books that have inscriptions in them. But The Help's is a really hard book to get through. But if you can get through it, it's a really great book and has an important message. So I really recommend The Help. Go read The Help, man. It's a great book. Number 12, your favorite childhood book. Let's see, what do we put down? Oh yeah, Sherlock Holmes actually is my favorite childhood book. Here's an older copy of Sherlock Holmes I have that I really enjoy. This one's like really, really old. It's got like an inscription in it. Shout out to that. 1979. 79. This shit's old as shit, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, I read Sherlock Holmes when I was really young. We had this little like paperback that had the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes in it, and my mom gave it to me when I was like 10 years old for Christmas or something. And I really enjoyed it, man. I just loved Sherlock Holmes from the beginning. Really good stuff. All right, here we go. Favorite book cover. This is actually my favorite book cover. This is 2 for 2 here. I just really like how old and classic it is. I mean, you got Watson and Sherlock on the cover. And then I kind of like the back too. The font and stuff's really cool. Yeah, man. I really like this book. Alright, here we go. An ugly book cover. Okay, so this one's a little strange for me. Here is the ugly book cover. It's Throne of Glass. So here's my thing with this book cover. This is not how I pictured the character. I don't know if she described her like this, but this is actually how I pictured the character. And I think when I first got Throne of Glass, it just came out, and I saw this picture on the web, so I think that this like this became Selena for me, and then when I saw that this right here, I was just like, what the fuck is that? So yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what she's supposed to look like, but that's just not what she looks like to me. So it's a bad cover. Okay, a diverse book recommendation. We're actually going to go back to The Help. There's multiples on this list, I'm sorry. Here you go, can you see it? Boom, The Help. Read it. Great book. Incredible book, actually. And it's a diverse book as well. Why do you love to read? Okay, this is the last question, number 16. Probably the hardest question. But the reason that I read, and I think most people read, is to escape your situation or your world or what you're doing at the time. If you're stressed out or if you're not feeling great, it's a great way to kind of escape. And you know, I was a really big movie buff and still am to this day, and to be into movies and to have a resource that lets you get more out of a movie. So like Star Wars Force Awakens, for example, right? Incredible movie. The day the movie came out, the book came out. The day I saw the movie, this is the day that I heard the book. So I saw the movie first, and this is how I prefer to read books. I know that this is bass-ackwards to most people, but I actually enjoy, if it's an option, to watch the movie first and then read the book, because I find it more entertaining that way, because it doesn't make me... And I think most people will say this: if you read the book and you see the movie, you're gonna think the book's better 99% of the time, and 99% of the time it is better, but you don't get that first experience of seeing it on screen. The next time you see a movie come out, like the next Star Wars movie comes out, Last Jedi, watch that movie and then read the book afterwards, and I think you'll have a better experience, because you'll enjoy the movie. Wow, it was an incredible movie. And then you get even more with the book, because the book gives you details that the movie can't give you in 2.5 hours. So that's why I like to read. I like to get more information about a movie I love, and also to escape my reality. So I think that's going to wrap it up, man. I didn't realize I was going to talk that long, so hopefully this video is not too long. Like I said, I'm going to tag a couple of people in the description below and on Twitter. Big shout out to Sam. She is awesome. I will put all of her links in the description below, whatever she wants me to put. She is an awesome person. Yeah, man, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're new here. And yeah, man, I will catch you on the flip side. Later.